right, welcome back to the broadcast, and of course you're watching KUTV Primetime News. Like I had hinted earlier, today is World Population Day, and so people across the globe observe July 11 as World Population Day. This is a day designated by the United Nations to focus attention on the urgency and importance of population issues. This includes their relations to the environment and human development. And this year's theme for World Population Day is unleashing the power of gender equality, while at the same time uplifting the voices of women and girls to unlock our world's infinite possibilities. Tonight in studio, I am joined by amazing human beings, so to say, and this is James Kilu and Sharon Sitati from the Center for Study of Adolescence. Karibuni sana to KUTV. I bet we will just get right into it, right?
Sure.
So I was doing a little bit of research on what the Center of Study for what Adolescence is, for what you guys do, and I discovered you are committed to the promotion of adolescents' health and related issues in Kenya. So I think that goes hand in hand with our theme for this year in World Population Day. And I would just want to know, to start us off, what are the challenges of adolescents people, specifically now in Kenya, in terms of healthcare? To start us off, what are the major challenges that we are facing? And let's start with James.
Okay, first, thank you for having us. So the challenges which face the adolescent group in relation to healthcare, one is lack of information, accurate information about different healthcare issues. Those are issues about menstruation, puberty, and growing up. And also, we have a big challenge of lack of access of services. Services like period products, which keep our girls out of school. That's another big challenge. And also, we have the triple threat. We have teenage pregnancies, which is very high in Kenya, and unfortunately very high. We have issues of violence in school, and such issues. I think those are some of the issues which face adolescents in our country.
Sharon, I presume these are from your findings now as the Center for the Study of Adolescence. When he says violence in schools, what are you doing maybe as the Center, as CSA, to ensure that our children, our adolescents are safe in school?
Okay, thank you very much. And like one of the things that we do in CSA is we do we have community activities where now we go to the out of school adolescent and young girls, and now we give them information on, let's say, how to report abuse, how to maybe spot and preventing, so that we're coming in with the interventions on how to prevent violence. And by us doing that out of school, when they go back to school, you'll realize they're also going to have information on also how to prevent violence, and they'll know that maybe to whom they're supposed to report when violence occurs to them. They know whom is trusted for them to be able to share maybe such cases of violence.
Right now, the conversation today has revolved around sexual health and sexual and reproductive health, as well as the call for gender equality. Now, I would want to know now, as an organization, what do you suggest should be done to uphold the sexual and reproductive health and rights of adolescents, young girls, and women?
Okay, thank you very much. And as fast as I can, let me start by saying, today is World Population Day.
Yeah.
And when talking about population, where does population derive from? From conception. Then when you're talking about conception, it comes back to the issue of family planning. Because realize with family planning, or you cannot talk about family planning without population. You cannot talk about population without family planning. So then you realize there is an issue to do with unaffordable and inaccessibility of a wide range of family planning methods that actually meet the needs of young girls and women. And we need to recognize that young women are different, and different, let's say, contraception method works different with them. some of them do not like suit. Okay, if whatever suits me does not mean that it's going to suit another person. So you realize like there also another issue of women not being able to be in a position to make like informed decision and autonomously about their health, because you realize like maybe that those women that and young girls and adolescents also that do not have like explicit, correct and timely information to make informed choices. So it isn't like when like you're not giving enough information that is correct about contraceptive, someone is going to go out there and the information that they're going to get is what they're going to maybe use. Maybe based on that, you'll realize like some of them are going actually to experience the teenage pregnancy, and as a country currently we are still being like ranked third globally in teenage pregnancies, and you come back to realize like this is because of there is inaccessibility of contraceptive methods, and by that it also stems from limited information and wide range of this contraceptive method that at least these girls can access, and all this is coming from women not and young girls not being able to be in a position to make informed decision autonomously about their body, because someone else somewhere is sitting and making decision about my own body. Then if I'm not in the like position to actually make informed choices about my body, what does that person know about my body? So you realize like the issue of not having to be able to access actually autonomous, affordable and quality healthcare is what's putting a lot of girls in let's say like health issues. Yeah.
All right, now when you are saying that most women and adolescents are not able now to make informed decisions about their body, where do you think is the gap stems from, and what can be done to really ensure that these adolescents, our young girls, are empowered and maybe given more education on how to really just build themselves up in person? James.
Okay, thank you. So the largest gap is information. They don't have the information to make those decisions.
Yes.
For example, the Kenya Health Demographic Survey report was released a few days ago. And one of the indicators which they were looking at is the understanding of HIV prevention. You come and find that for people whose education level ended at standard 8, just primary education, their understanding of HIV prevention is very low, even less than 50% in some areas. When you go to Form 4, it does not even get to 80%. So we are saying we have a Form 4 graduate who does not know how to prevent HIV, in essence. So HIV, I think, is one of the things which we can say most Kenyans know about. So if the most obvious thing is not obvious to many who have gone through the education system, what do you think about the other issues which are often neglected? The issues of contraception, consent. So I think we need to focus more on our education system to ensure that we have graduates who understand well about their health if we are to improve the health outcomes of our society. The second thing, why they don't make informed decisions, they are not given the chance. They lack the autonomy. You know, as human beings, we own ourselves. So we don't need to be controlled by other people. And that's where the issue of gender equality comes in, and the issue of gender equity. For example, when you look at issues about family planning, you find that the uptake is very low in certain areas. Like I was looking at it, is less than 10% in Madeira and the former Northern Province. The uptake is less than 10%. So maybe it can be argued because of the cultural and societal setting in that area, maybe the women don't have so much leeway in the decisions which they make. So in essence, they don't own themselves. So that's the second issue that we need to look at.
So as it stands as a country, I understand we're still lacking behind when it comes to gender parity. The other gender feels like the other gender is given more priority than the rest. So what is the way forward? What can be done to really just combat such embedded gender disparity?
So I don't think one gender is being given more than the other or should be like that. We are saying that we should have an equal chance, all of us, for access of opportunities in exercise of our rights. We just need to have equal chance. The issues of gender and sex should not be a consideration when we get that opportunity to exercise our rights. So what should we do about that? One thing, this thing about gender equality has for long been made about, not about gender, but to be a women issue. So we need to change certain settings in our society.
When you say women issue, what do you mean? Is it that women, we really fight towards wanting to be given equal rights as compared to men, or what do you mean?
Not you are fighting to be given equal rights. I would not put it that way. We are not given rights. They belong to us, to all of us. They are your rights. They are our rights. Your rights are human rights. They are not just women rights. So what I'm saying in essence is that men should get into the fight to ensure that their sisters get fair play. Yeah.
Wonderful. What's your take on that, Sharon?
Okay, maybe just to build on what James had said. You had asked about like the issues of gender and where it's all stemming from. It's stemming from let's say patriarchy, because like maybe as a lady, maybe who's in a relationship, or maybe as a woman who is married, I do not have the autonomy to maybe make decision about family planning, because I have to consult my husband, who has to be the final person to either say like take it or not. And some of them, like when they take it, like you realize like the men will become abusive, because they're thinking that maybe women that have access to, or that are trying to access family planning, are actually promiscuous. So it comes back to the decision of, as a woman, I won't have to make decision about my body unless my husband or my boyfriend says so. And this is my body. Like, if I take, let's say, contraception, it's affecting me more. But why do I have to like ask a man about, now what do you think we should do about this? And because if I do that, because we've had women that actually have been abused because the husband realized that they were using contraception. And then it comes back to when we're talking about population, we realize like when someone let's say like cannot access the quality and affordable and let's say like suitable contraceptive method, they're going either to have like unplanned pregnancy, or let's say unintended pregnancy. Either they're going to resort to unsafe abortion, which is also another issue that's causing like maternal deaths, or they're going to resort to let's say unplanned parenthood. And when we talk about unplanned parenthood, this means at one point or the other, it's going to maybe put me at a halt of something, either education-wise or work-wise. Therefore, that means while a man is continuing maybe to do the work and everything, as a woman, it's like kind of somewhere along the line, it's like my life has been paused a bit. So you realize like even most of these women won't have like the equal chances even to like let's say it, to competitively perform at the work because of like such issues. And that's why we realize that most of the women that maybe the moment they have like a teenage like pregnancy, going back to school becomes an issue because they have now to take care of the kid. And then this stems from when you have unplanned parenthood, either, or let's say like when you just not like you have not planned your parenthood like generally, you're going to have your priorities different, because that means you're going to be in a place where it's like in a run of trying to cater for this family, which means it will reach a point where now you're going to leave another kid to take care of another kid so that you can go and hustle. And that means you are leaving these kids in hands where you are not there to protect them. They are so vulnerable to abuses. Sometimes, like there's actually a research that shows like unplanned parenthood and increased crime rates, because the moment you're going to, as a parent, you've not planned your parenthood. So which means like you have like a lot of children that you cannot really take care of. So which means these children are going to start taking care of themselves. Do they really have that capability to take care of themselves? No. Where are they going to start now? what are they going to do now so that they can take care of themselves? Maybe turn into crime rates. And also when they turn into crimes, there's also the issue of trauma. So it's also like unplanned parenthood is going to cause like increase like crime rates. It's going to cause mental health to both you, because you feel so guilty that you cannot provide for these kids. Also, you've put the kids in a place where now they have to mature like faster than they were supposed to, so you haven't given them the ability to enjoy their childhood, so you're also causing them another trauma. And then when there's also like a lot of people, then that means as a parent you are not able, actually, if you are not financially stable, you are not able to actually at least give them like a helping hand economically. Then that means it's like there is the cycle of poverty, because I am not able to provide for them, and then I'm letting them in the world like that. They have no returns, they have nothing. So that means even for them, if they're not, maybe find someone at least who can hold them, or maybe be in a better position to maybe provide for themselves, we're going to have the same cycle of poverty.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want us to take a look at the 2023 State of World Population Report. I don't know if you can get the statistics on the screen. While we wait for it, 24, according to the United Nations, there we have it, 24% of partnered women and girls are unable to say no to sex, and 11% are unable to make decisions specifically about contraception. This is according to data from 68 reporting countries. This is according to United Nations. What really should be done? Now that 24% of partnered women and girls are unable to say no to sexual intercourse.
Okay.
James, let's start here.
Okay, thank you. That's really worrying. So I think I see two issues there. The issue of consent. I think we should educate our people properly on the issue of consent, what consent means, and when consent should be applied. So for girls not being able to say no to sex, essentially it means that they are more vulnerable to rape and the consequences of it. So we need to ensure first the perpetrators, they know that consent is very important, and also they understand that there are consequences of sex without consent. The other issue, we see women who are not in control of their bodies here because of the setting which we have in our country. People who are not able to make decisions about themselves. So I think we need to improve the structure of an autonomy, and this is brought about systematically by educating people about their rights. Yes.
So I want us to wind up. My director is telling me that you're working on borrowed time, but I want to hear from you, Sitati, and then we'll come to James. UN Secretary General, that is Antonio Guterres, today, while marking the World Population Day, he said leaders are failing in efforts to ensure a peaceful and prosperous world for all. Do you agree? And if yes, what really should be done by our leaders?
Yes, I do agree, because from that statement there is an issue of inequality, and by that, if they're failing to provide an equal world to all, then that means someone else is being like stepped upon, and that means also the issues of rights. Someone's right is not in their hands, like just as James said, like women are not being in a position to make autonomous choices about their bodies. So what can be done is, as leaders, we need to realize that we are not going to realize like the sustainable goals, or we are not going to have sustainable development if we do not talk about women's rights. And if we're talking about women's rights, then we have to bring in the issue of actually developing and implementing fully the policies that actually work towards ensuring that women have access to quality, affordable, and autonomous healthcare. Yeah, so to me it comes back to the issues, because it's the leaders that actually develop these policies. So if there are policies in check that actually support like everyone to enjoy their rights without like being stumbled upon and make informed choices about their bodies, then I think it's going to be in a place where at least we're going to be at least if not maybe 3/4, at least half a way in maybe attaining maybe sustainable goals.
All right, James, do you think our leaders are doing what they should be doing when it comes to now gender equality, now that we are in the theme of World Population Day? Are Kenyan leaders doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Unfortunately, not. Expectantly about our leadership, that is expected. I think these are the custodians, the people who have been promoting inequalities in our society. For example, there was a bill some times back which was about to bring about the truth that gender balance the parliament. It's the leaders who brought it down, ensuring that we don't have more women in leadership, in power, to make that the strings of power more balanced. It's the leaders who ensure that policies which are put in place are not favorable to our society. For example, there's a bill in Senate. I think it's been introduced about inheritance for deceased, for widows and widowers, which at all is not promoting equality in our society. So leaders in our society, they are not doing pretty good job in ensuring equality. And you know there cannot be peace when there is no equality.
All right, but the director is telling me to wind up, or they come and take us out of our seats right here in studio. So I want us to stop at that. But I understand that we will be continuing this conversation on just really gender equality, because it's a conversation that never stops. So as we close, do you have something to say? Maybe that is your camera? Nothing?
Go first.
All right, so we're taking a very short break. At this point, we're coming back with so much more. Stay right here.